For most of history, people were connected to land, family, religion, and tradition. Identity came from generations of inherited culture and community. Then came America, a continent populated by people pulled from different nations, languages, religions, and bloodlines, separated from ancestral roots and placed into an entirely new system. As detailed in L, Origin of the Blood, the creation of America introduced a society engineered through psychology itself. By the 1300s, the Knights Templar had already collected detailed maps from across the world through centuries of crusades, trade control, and naval expansion. The continent was well known, but the reputation of the Templars had been ruined. Just as they became able to establish this new world, they were exposed, arrested, and disbanded. They no longer had the public trust or funding needed to openly launch the project themselves. So they waited for a bloodline descendant who could appear separate from the old orders. In 1451, Christopher Columbus was born into the Merovingian line. Queen Isabella of Spain funded an expedition to establish this new world as previously planned, making him the leader, and in 1492, he sailed west under the public story of discovery. The people who arrived in the New World came from different nations, languages, religions, and cultures. Entire populations were uprooted from their ancestral homes and thrown together into an unfamiliar land where survival depended on new systems of authority. The elite's systems that were not able to yet be implemented in the deeply rooted European continent. Removing people from their motherland creates instability in identity itself. Once populations are detached from ancestral roots, traditions, and inherited structures, they begin searching for replacement systems to fill the void. And in the new society being constructed, those replacements became government, money, institutions, political movements, media, celebrities, and consumer culture. Here, money was able to be made into psychological security. Wealth became safety. Poverty became fear. Entire populations were conditioned to tie survival, identity, status, and belonging to financial systems controlled from above. At the same time, division became permanent. Unlike in Europe, religious, political, economic, and social identities divided against each other. Fragmentation was not a flaw in the system, it was the system. A divided population is easier to manipulate because individuals searching for identity become emotionally dependent on the structures around them. By the 1600s and 1700s, hereditary clubs and orders were already being established in the New World. For the little people, clubs, movements, organizations, and ideological groups multiplied across society, replacing inherited community with manufactured belonging. The result was a civilization increasingly driven by psychological conditioning instead of direct force. Control is strongest when populations believe they are completely free. Learn how free you really are in L, Origin of the Blood.